So, let's start again, shall we? This is going to be a review of T1 versus OK BRO, because I want to see how T1 play without Oner, because Oner's very important to the way that they play the game. And if you watch any of my other reviews, you'll realize that I talk about that, like, a lot. So we're going to... I need to change the stream title as well, actually. Maybe, let me do that real quick. I should do that. Let's do that. Okay, cool. We can get back on that. Okay, let's get into it. So this is 14.3. So we have nerfed Corki, nerfed Karma. So they're not first pick anymore. And you let through the center already as Bro, which is... That's a mess. Now, you don't have center Nautilus, which is one of the most powerful things. But now what you are thinking about is... Maokai and Tom Kench. Maybe Nilo. So you've got the two tanky ones, but then you also have like some lane dominant stuff too. Oh, I hate this reversed order thing. I hate this. It messes with me because it's just muscle memory, right? So I like it going left to right on both sides. It just makes me more happy. It really annoys me. So what have you got to actually contend with this? Are you going to go Smolder? Do you Smolder for Senna? Because Smolder can kind of like... yeah, I think Smolder can kind of like scale up alongside the center.
This was always going to happen.
Instead, they're going towards the Azir. Is this good? So you can go towards tank Azir as well. Let me speed this up actually. See how quick it looks in. So you're not going Smolder, you take away the Maokai. So you've locked away one of these options in the Maokai. So that's gone. So that's one of the best ways you can get engage out of your bot lane at the same time. Because Maokai Senna is probably the best pairing in terms of team fight later on the whole. So what do you go for now? Do you go towards lane pressure on the bot side? Do you actually just say carry has an infinite champion pool, we don't care? No, they just want to lock in something that's undivable. Okay. And as soon as you see that Tom Kench, you realize that there's no lane pressure coming out there. We're free to scale up with the Smolder. So the Smolder Maokai arguably outscales the Senna Tom Kench in a lot of ways, actually, because you can play front to back so well. So this is going to be quite a non-interactive bot lane. One thing that we can see as well, and I'm interested to see if Guwon does this, is that you can use the Senna. So early on, you buy double door and support items, and then you get your first few levels of the game by just brute forcing in bot lane. You back as the Senna. Your support is safe because he has a lot of gold from their first back. And they just farm alone in bot lane while Senna actually goes top lane. And Senna goes top lane to flip another matchup. So Udyr is normally going to get a load of pressure. Now what happens if at level 4 Senna comes into his lane? Udyr can't play the game which he wants, the way that he wants to. So I want to see if Guwon just goes top side after a couple of levels in bot lane. A fan asked Guwon during the fan meeting if the T1 players gave him advice during his call-up game. He said that overall the players' conditions were not good, so more than advice, they encouraged him to do the best he could. During the pick ban phase, they let him pick whatever he wanted. That's cool. That's fun. Isn't Senna top the meta now? I am going to do a video about this, because yes, we see it. It has to be done for the right reasons, but yes. So we have Guwon going towards, I missed the last part of this draft because I was talking crap. So, Udyr on 4, that's fine. It kind of gives you the perma push matchup on top side. It means you have engage, long range backline, front line, especially with Kasante banned. Udyr is the last remaining, like, tanky top laner. So you go towards Talia, which gives you some, so now you have double globals, so you can play around side lane. And you have the Viego for the single reset play as well. So your front line should be able to get the first kill. It also means that you're likely to force really snowbally fights before Bro have big items on Senna and Azir. Xin Zhao can allow you to maybe outplay the first kill of the fight because the ultimate allows you to not go down to the first kill as easily. Viego coming back has made a lot of people realize that once again, Viego can win games with a single kill. A single kill in a team fight will be very bad. Illyriax. Oh, sorry. Illyriax. Thanks for the follow, I appreciate it. Welcome to the channel. I'll try and call out follows again now we're online. Okay, let's get into game. Was this game delayed at all? Oh, is it? These ones will have been, oh, it's not live audience, yeah. Okay, let me move my camera as well. Let's get back into it. Cam stuff. Where are we going with this? It's down here. Small mirror briefly. See how it looks on here as well. It's fine. Move it out here. It's fine. I'll be in this bottom corner over here. Hopefully it won't block the UI for smaller stacks. Right, so what are the win cons here? You're looking to... Well, no, I'm not going to write on screen for this one because there's going to be too many words. But T1, I want to see if they do the center top lane move because that's been something that LCS tried the other day and they didn't understand it. I'd love to have a talk about why. LCS might not have understood it because it's meant to be done for the right reasons. And I don't think they understood exactly what was happening there. So, I want to see the items as well. So this is fun. I need to see if there's double Dorans. Like, right now, please, show the freaking items. Stop. So we don't have double Dorans. Senna's gone for the support item. Because it's the Senna Maokai, you know it's not going to be out fighting. You're just there to, like, get a few levels. Now, what I'm interested in after this is what happens if Guma gets to, like, level 4. Guma carry gets to level 4. And then you just get to leave lane. And you get to go topside and stop Udyr being Udyr. Because Udyr, a lot of his value in a game is getting perma-push early game. Do you think BLG or T1 look better? Yeah, I think that T1 and BLG play quite similar styles, but T1 are cleaner with it. I think T1 look a lot better. I think LPL is still figuring out how they want to play mid-game. And early game for a lot of teams too. Like even today, we just came off of a BLG cast, right? And it looked pretty imprecise. So I think MSI, LPL tends to ramp up towards it. Last year we thought that LPL would clean sweep, LCK would clean sweep, and obviously that wasn't the case. We had 2 LPL teams in the finals, and BLG beat both Gen.G and T1, and obviously JDG beat T1 as well. They were close games against T1, but like, yeah, I expect this to be the big thing. So, we're getting towards the point now. I think it's normally around level 4, where we have Senna recall, well, bot lane recall. They might do it on this crash. They might recall, and then look to try and move around the map. Because it just stops Udyr being Udyr. Now, what you might do instead is just keep in this lane, because it's such an easy lane for Senna to get stacks in, because Smolder's not going to kill you. He'll get farm, but like you can hit the Maokai quite well. Yeah, when does Kalist come of age, actually? Does he come in age, come of age for like summer? When does he come, when does he come of age? That's quite important, actually, to know. Okay, Zer's doing okay on this top side, but it's just Udyr. Udyr annoys you quite a lot. I think what we're going to have is Zer's back for... He wants to like get a good first back of the game if he can as well. You're taking first dragon. So now, here's my logic, right? You've gotten every bit of value you can out of bot side. In terms of objectives. Now what you can do here, you can recall as the Senna Tom Kench. And then you can just stop Morgan being a champion as the only frontline champion in the game. Because... Now, I want to see this. No, he is going bot side. He is going bot side. I don't know. I feel like that was a missed opportunity there. I guess the thing is, the reason that we see it a lot of the times when you have a side lane matchup in the top lane, and this isn't really a side lane matchup. So if you see like a Guwon, or you see like a Fiora or something like that. Hang on, let's slow this down. This is actually quite an important play. Oh shit. So what's happening here? So we don't see the Senna move topside. And we haven't really talked about Guwon. This hasn't really been... This is another thing too. So, I mean, obviously we started this today saying, okay, well, how's T1 going to play without Oner? They're not really playing towards, like, hyper lane counters or hyper-aggressive lanes. Good flash from Faker. Good flash from Faker. So Karis doesn't have to flash there himself. Now what we need to see is Guwon try and track enemy jungler. Because this is a thing, right? We don't... Normally we see from... T1, good wards into here, good wards into here. We haven't really seen that. So this hasn't really been T1 being able to track the enemy jungler quite as well. And you can see that BRO, they've got vision into the river. So that you can definitely tell that T1, and they're not tracking the jungler particularly. I mean, I'm not going to say they do it every game with Oner as well. But like, this is not a game where they've managed to track the enemy jungler. It's worth tracking that. It's worth just kind of saying, okay, how are they playing without Oner? Viego's just full clearing, which is fine. Another good thing about this Viego in this game as well is that there's not a huge amount that can pick off Viego. At worst, someone runs at him and he ults backwards. Hey, expert. Hello. Hello there in Wisconsin. Hey, Solly. Carrier's amazing. You watching Casual stream? Very cool. I missed this live because it's been a really busy week for me, particularly since I've been streaming a lot too. I've had less time to watch live games because I've been focusing on streaming. I mean, last live LCK games. Okay. Morgan's doing a pretty good job in this top lane matchup, just abusing it how he can.
That was my just trying to give Bro a little bit back.
Yeah, then again, Orion Vi is pretty diddy playing. I don't know.
Yeah, it's another one of those things where it's like you'd like to ban 11 things.
So, we haven't really seen the center movements. What we've largely been seeing is just, I think T1 are just biding time until they get their first items really now. Faker doesn't have flash this time and slows down again actually. And this is something which, so I know I don't always talk about early game macro and like the very nitty gritty, because often I try and talk about it in broad strokes because it's just easier to understand, I suppose, when you're trying to review it. But the big thing here is, no wards in here, a couple of wards just being put into here. You can see that there are actually a couple of blue pings on these camps, but because they don't have, so they assume that Gideon is in top side, but they don't realize that he's, well, you know, here. This is the difference when you play the style which T1 normally does, when they have great vision into the enemy jungle and they have a matchup in the jungle where they can kind of walk in and at least see the enemy jungle with their own couple of eyes. Faker's had his flash blown. Guwon's here shielding mid, but they don't exactly know where Gideon is. They don't have pressure on top side at all, but Senna has the ult. But they lose a kill. So T1 outplay, and Guwon is there to respond in just in case there is something happening. Actually, when does he arrive here? So he has bot lane pushing in. Oh no, you know what? I take it back. He sees that bot side camps are down. And after that, he knows that he's not top side. They don't know exactly where Gideon is, but they know he's top side. So they do... It's still there. It's still half there, right? It's half there, where like they go into the bot side jungle using lane pressure, they spot out the jungle is not in bot side, and they end up seeing what's happening. They understand that Gideon is somewhere top side. I don't think they realized they knew he was that close to mid lane, because they didn't have direct information. And they also, you can see that Zeus is also, look at the minimap. The minimap is the most important thing, because just before this we saw, you can just see there it fading out now. There's a blue ping onto red buff. There's a blue ping onto Zeus' own lane as well. They know that Morgan's missing, they know that Gideon is on top side, and they know that likely, because Faker has no flash, there's a play coming in mid. Now I don't think they realized quite the timing of it, because they don't have direct vision. But they do still see this coming. Guwon comes in, you have Senna with the ultimate as well to help with globals coming through. They don't quite manage to get Faker out alive, but they do get Guwon with a kill. And while this is happening, Zez gets to push out a wave on top as well. Obi Nim Kenobi. Well, of course I know him. He's me. Never before have you seen such a wretched hive of scum and villainy. For the dark times, before the Empire. Why does LCK look good in Spring? Going into MSI and do worse, than LPL looks good into Worlds and do worse? On the whole, the meta changes an awful lot going into Worlds more than it does going into MSI on the whole, which means that I think that LCK are typically better at using larger champion pools and figuring out the champion pools they want to play around. Whereas LPL, they probably need... it's not always true. I think the top LPL teams have sometimes been less versatile, typically. Last year was a bit different. So if they get shifted away from their comfort meta, because World's meta has changed so drastically, they look a lot worse. And we saw that like halfway through Worlds, that changed, right? I think LCK are probably better at innovating very quickly. I think LPL will probably look better when they're sat on a patch for a bit longer and sat on a style. And they can sometimes struggle when the meta changes more. But MSI has less meta changes than Worlds does. Not that it doesn't have any, but it has less, on the whole. Okay, so what's the state of this game? Do you have Vision now being set up from Bro after that mid lane play in towards bot side, Dragon is spawned, Guwon's on bot side as well. You have Senna roaming across the map with tier 2 boots with Swifties, making it much easier to roam into different lanes. That definitely helps. That means that, oh, okay, that's a, oh my god, does he actually just blast, oh my god, wait, as soon as he's, oh no, Gideon hits the blast cone and goes straight into its Lear field, so we can't E through this. Faker still has no flash. No, he has flash. Yeah, he has flash. What am I kidding? I'm kidding. I'm trolling. He has flash. Okay. Carrier goes right in. Wait, he doesn't even take Guwon to survive. He goes in for extra damage. Because you still have the Heartbreaker. Oh, and he gets the reset. Yeah. Get the reset. Nice. Okay. Yeah. So, let's have a look at what BRO could have done here. Because they have... Remember what we're saying? The first kill from Viego can pretty much destroy the fight. The first kill in any of these fights will probably lead to a one-team fight if it's strong enough. Gideon has his ult. Doesn't quite have Karis in position. Morgan's not going to be here as a frontline. The only frontline here is this ultimate, which we've just seen. We've now the Thunderdome's out, right? So we've got this. That helps. It means that Guma can't, like, 100% DPS him. Fake has to leave because he knows that the combo's coming from Karis. But Guwon does a good job of just chunking down some HP. Carrier is now the strongest, that's like the tankiest person left. Great knockup from him. He has a Barmies as well, so he's Barmiesing 3 people. And once everyone's so low, then you still have the Heartbreaker after this. It is very important here, actually. Let's talk about this a little bit more. If you use the Devour, instead of having the Heartbreaker out, you get to use the Heartbreaker aggressively. A lot of the time in games like this, when you don't want to die first, you end up using your ults defensively, right? Obviously, the Shinzo ult is always defensive ult-ish. It also has some damage on it too. But like, the Viego, a lot of the time when you're picked off as the first target, you ult backwards because you're unstoppable. So, big moment here from, like, Carrier to save his Devour to allow Guwon to then ult aggressively afterwards, and that means he gets huge amounts of resets beyond that point. Because the extra Heartbreaker damage onto the first kill is what really solves that. And now suddenly you're 4 kills in. You are behind now as BRO versus a team composition that only needs to get 1 kill on you to win the game. You're now realistically looking at picking people out of position. It's very hard to do that when you have Senna ult, Tahm Kench Devour, and then Talia ult to respond very quickly. Guma's got a hell of a lot of gold. Carrier's not going to be a pickable target either. Polu has just died for free. Why did he die? So he just walks... Wait, does he just walk back and die? What? You have no vision on the bot side of the map. Your jungler's not on the bot side of the map. Carrier gets... He just... Ah, Polu. You are not as tanky as you think you are. Nah, it sucks. Carrier is everywhere. Does he just, after this kill, does he just immediately teleport topside? Oh, they see Gideon on a ward while this is happening, because you can see it on the minimap here. So they spot him on this thing there. He just swept that out. Wait, no, did he sweep it out? Wait, how does he fucking teleport? Does he kill the ward when he sweeps it out? Or does he just sweep it and run past it? He doesn't stop to kill the ward. Oh, he doesn't stop to kill the ward, which means he can get teleported on. So Carrier still has Flash, he has no Devour, but he can be here as like a third global. They don't have the Senna ult. Oh, so Carrier gets his knockup cancelled. Guwon's here anyway. Where's Guwon? Is Guwon just running from base? So he spotted on a ward and he was immediately running topside anyway, because he knows that there's no bot side play to be made because both supports have left. He does have his knockup removed, but like, it's, I mean, he doesn't quite have Ghost. It's not enough. Guwon gets the resets. And now you have an insanely powerful Viego. But this Viego, I think that Guwon did a good job for the mid lane player of just walking into the enemy jungle. I don't think he's really been part of the vision game. I think that he's largely been following on from Faker and Carrier, pushing up and getting vision into the enemy jungle. Now they have a load of wards in the enemy jungle to make this very, very powerful. Great knock. Oh my god, Carrier is actually such a master of snowballing fights. His angles are just fantastic, man. His Tahm Kench is so good. He doesn't even give Polo like an easy W away, so Guma gets to get a load of auto attack uptime. He then teleports topside because, you know, Gideon doesn't end up sweeping the ward. Because he has, if they're going to get a kill on Zayas, he needs to go straight for it. But then, yeah, teleport can just, yeah, screws him. It screws him, man. Basket man up, by the way, thanks to the follow, if you're still here. And now just like, you have a million kills. Morgan can't play the way that he wants to because there's vision dropped everywhere. This is another thing, right? After T1 win a fight, they litter wards all over the enemy jungle. Some teams immediately reset, but well, that's not always true. But like when you win a fight, just in general, you leave wards. This is the thing that we talked about. So if you watch back to a couple of the Fnatic G2 games I did as VOD reviews earlier just a couple of weeks ago, watch them because I talk about it in depth there. But once you win a fight, you drop wards, which means that the next fight you take around a fight, an area of the map which you just lost in, it's gonna suck. So now if BRO go topside, they know that they're gonna be on wards. You have globals from Faker still. You have dives over the wall from Carrier. You need to be so careful. And Envy is not really going to be able to scale up. Nor can he impact the game this early. He couldn't in any situation. But Senna can impact the game by going Swifties, roaming, and then also having globals as well. Super annoying now for this sort of Smolder. Smolder can't control this game. Can't control this game, really. That sucks. Guwon and Carrier are... I mean, you've even got Ghostblade as well. So if Guwon wants to get some on the map, he just, like, he has Swifties, he pops Ghostblade, and he runs like 1,000,000 miles an hour. And becomes Supersonic Senna. And, yeah, that's really rough. And now... What's happening with Jungle Vision? They're pushing in lanes. Top lane's pushing in, they've taken top lane out of turret. Faker's returning back to lane, but he has teleport and he has ult. He has second level ult as well, so it's long range. You have Senna ult, you have Devour, you're ready to fight again. Dragon's up in a minute. They haven't set up bot lane. Gideon's trying to find himself an angle. Are they trying to take a fight before T1 get Jungle Vision? The Jungle Vision, the Jungle Vision. You have the Smolder ult. You spot the plant going off, so you know Guma's right here. And then, yeah, you have the Smolder ult, which can come in from a mile away, but Talir ult is also just pinning them into the fight. So now they have no option but to fight. Faker gets shuffled back, but there's a Devour. Smolder ult does something. Do they still have a shuffle? No, okay. So now you don't have 4 ults. How much did you use here? You also used 4 ults. Who does this benefit more? I think this benefits T1 more, because I think the dive is really nasty, and all you need to do is get 1 kill. Now, you don't have any ults in here to force kills. This is the only frontlining ability that you have, besides maybe the Maokai ult, which can also screen off your advance or your defense. While all this is happening, Zeus is, you know, controlling top lane now. He's got Profane Hydra, so he's very happy with how he can play out things. And now T1, without any threat of any ults being thrown at them, throw the Herald into mid lane, get full mid lane control. They have no ults to worry about at the next dragon, which is coming up in 30 seconds. Zeus, he doesn't even die, does he? Wow, that's... Yeah. So while they're charging in the Herald at the second time, Carrier is moving to help Zeus. Because he knows that there's no threat in mid lane because there's no Maokai ult. Because there's no Maokai ult, there's no threat onto them being engaged on there. He goes towards top side. Zeus just about gets away with this, actually. Wow, Carrier is everywhere. I think this kind of game for Guwon as well, when you've got the Viego, which can kind of just benefit from everyone else's plays, is really important too. So now he can go dive with the stolen Maokai. He can reset aggro with the resets. Well, actually, no, you don't reset aggro with that, actually, technically, with because you're still targetable from tower shots, at least, I think. Just not champions. Belveth is the worst one with that, because you're still targetable when you're taking the coral. But, yeah. Okay, right, well, Carrier is just the best support in the world. Who knew? Who could have guessed that? I think it's really cool how T1, they have constant movement from Carrier and Guma to have coverage of people who are on the weak side of the map. When you get into towards inner turrets, everyone is so close to each other that it doesn't matter nearly as much at that point. Yeah, this is really good. Okay, right. Because they've just managed to push up continually, they managed to get Dragon for free. Get on soul points. So what can Bro realistically do? Can they look for any objective bounties? Very hard. Anytime that Bro could make a play which gets them back into the game, they're walking over enemy vision because it's been littered because T1 are winning fights on both sides of the map. You have Ghostblade on Guma and Swifties, which means he arrives to plays very quickly. Carrier has teleport when that's available, and he has the dive as well, which means that he gets to plays very quickly. Zeus, similarly, you pop World Ender, you have teleport. Everyone in T1 can respond very quickly. Even Viego, when he has the Harrowed Path, the E, he can throw that down and moves very quickly on that now as well. He's almost maxed out that ability, which gives you extra move speed and attack speed, so that's actually very good. And he can also ult over walls if he needs to get to a play in a particularly weird spot as well. So every single... And then, of course, Talia has the wall. So T1, every single member gets to plays very, very quickly. So Bro need to take a snap engage and kill someone very quickly, but how do they do that when you have one side where you can have a center ult immediately before you finish the kill? And everyone can respond very, very quickly. If you don't have the damage, you're very far behind. This game's completely over. And a lot of it has just been because Carrier and Guma have been responding very well. And on the whole, T1 have kept up decent jungle vision tracking as well, because they just know where the enemy is to pick the right fights. So in terms of how are T1 playing without Guwon in this game, fairly similar, though I will say that Guwon has not really been the driving force when it comes to actually messing with the enemy jungler and making sure that enemy jungler can't get any tracking. This might be a good sweep. Gets the flash out. Guwon can just ult back. This is a really important thing for Viego. Whenever you're picked, you can just ult backwards. And there's not that much from Bro that can stop Guwon from getting out. Occasionally a shuffle can come in like that. But because the ult is such a low cooldown too, it's not like it's really ever easy to punish. You just wait like a minute, half a minute, it's back. So yeah, this is a hard game for Bro to play out, just in any manner really. Zeus now gets onto Envy, forces a flash. That's really annoying. Flash or flash. The smaller can't even reposition for like a big kind of like combo. He's not even at 2 items, and you really need 3 items in smaller before he starts taking off. 3 items and then the last breakpoint on your Q. That's what you're really waiting for, and he's not been given that luxury. This game will now be a slow bleed out really. Bro are not going to be in a position to really look for a Baron steal. There's a soul on the other side too, so even if it goes beyond 2 minutes, which it should do I guess, they're not going to be in position to play that. They have a handful of wards on top side and 1 on Baron. They have nothing across the river right now. Even though Maokai is a fantastic vision control champion, it's going to be really bad. Viego is one of the better champions at taking Baron because he has a lot of percent HP damage on his Q passive, which means that he's quite good at killing Baron, even though he doesn't have huge damage right now. That 1 ward's doing some work. Sometimes it's quite important to just put wards in not opportune places, like ideal places, but put them in a place where you know the enemy doesn't sweep as well. This is very hard for Bro. You have no lane pressure, you have no stats, and you can't make a pick quick enough to get quick cheesy picks to stop T1 from like running over the map as a 5-man unit. This is very difficult. So I'm just expecting 1 more fight into loss now at this point. Okay, so you get a pick onto the front line. Gideon has flash, Karis has flash. Is anyone? There's one. Well, Zeus and Carrier are flashless. Oh, they don't quite manage to separate the front line, but they force a flash out of Poly, which means there's no flash Maokai now. It's kind of important. After watching LCK Lane Mates ADC edition, I felt bad for Guma. The ADs are so negative about their importance in the game. I actually think AD carries in a pretty okay spot right now. I think that laning phase has been really dominant for them for a while. I think there's a good amount of variety. I think you can do weight and scale AD carries. I think you can do some different stuff like Senna. I think you can do lane dominant stuff. You don't have crit AD carries. That's what sucks. Zeus doesn't have flash. This is a good pick for them. How quickly can T1 respond? They have teleports. They could have teleported onto this with Faker. Well, you don't really teleport into the middle of things as him. He's healing a hell of a lot. This is being traded for Soul. Oh my god, he gets one and there's a Senna ult too. Oh Jesus, how did they get away with that? Surely not. Okay, so he Qs W's forwards. I think actually Karis makes a mistake in Q doubling because he can't reposition his soldiers after that point. Oh god, he gets a kill there. Oh my god, and now they're teleporting. Faker, if he teleports in earlier, maybe picks up another 2 there actually. That's insane. That's insane actually. He should never get away with that. I think Karis played that badly because all you need to do is have Aatrox be in your soldiers. You don't need to go melee range. If he goes melee range, then that shit happens because it's fucking Aatrox with full lethality. God damn. Okay, so teleport in from Udyr. You don't have your... Can they get... Wait, can they get a Drake? Can they get Baron still? They're holding it at about 5k. Faker's not in a great spot. Carrier is very hard to kill, but there's no DPS happening right now. The temporary front line of Gideon's doing some work. They haven't got the first kill for the reset. The pull gets something in, but that's not going to be a reset. Oh, shit. And he gets the E as well. Yep, this is a tanky... Oh, my God. And because he's got Chemtech Soul, he does more damage and heal and takes less damage at below 50% HP. Oh, the Chemtech Soul actually saves him, you know? So right now, every point from, like, now, he's getting 10% damage reduction, 10% damage up. And he gets the Cunny Fruit on the floor. Oh, and he keeps himself in the... It's like playing Olaf. You keep yourself in the sweet spot of, like, that low HP, but still alive. And because he has Hollow Radiance and Frozen Heart, he's super tanky and doing decent damage. Oh my god. Chemtech Soul Diff, actually. Jesus, man. Holy moly. Well, that is Carrier throwing his weight around and doing some hella good work, actually. Yep, so they get themselves Baron, they get themselves a huge play. I'm glad that they didn't just leave Baron on low HP for someone to just flip it. They hold it about 5k. If you hold it about 5k, you can't even burst it with something like the Smolder ult, which you can occasionally get a bit weird with that. It used to be the Misfortune ult used to do that over the wall with. Okay, but you can see how quickly T1 can respond with like all of their globals. This should be pretty much end of the game. Nah, they can't last another Baron push, can they? Another 2 minutes of this. It's gonna be another wave or two. They're missing some globals, so maybe they don't want to play such a wide map. Maybe that slows them down a little bit, because if you don't have teleports and you play a wide map, it's kind of nasty. Yeah, you have Smolder stacks, but, like, yeah, it doesn't matter enough. I think the center is just doing too much. If you play a wide map, Smolder can't be everywhere. Center can with a ult, pretty much. We've seen this already. God, the honey fruit were actually nuts. That honey fruit completely saves him. Man, Chemtech Soul and honey fruit. It's the Chemtech Rift which gives him the honey fruit there as well. God damn. Okay. Smolder's trying to wave clear. Another wave left. You've got what? One more wave after this to push in? Maybe? No, it's going to be dead. So they don't break the base. Can they get bot lane wave in? I don't think they can. And they're playing on 2 waves. It's... T1 would love to play on 3 waves continually, because they have so many globals to just ignore the Smolder. Smolder can't really affect everything well enough. Not that many AD carries can, but, you know. Smolder really wants to be on 1 lane. Okay, Inhib does fall to get it with the last wave. Faker doesn't quite get himself the combo. That would have been end of the game. It's fine, he has Seraphs, he doesn't die. That's okay. If they didn't get that kill anyway, they would have been resetting all the same. So Faker gets a reset. Yeah, he doesn't lose anything for it. He gets himself three items after this. The fact that Guwon has not really had to do anything particularly advanced in this game is really important. I think he's done enough in regards to like jungle tracking that has been fine. I hear in game 2 that he played Vi and had a harder time. I think that makes a lot of sense because he has to make a lot more proactive plays than that kind of pick. Where he can't be just the follower, he has to be, which Viego can be, because you can kind of like benefit all the rest of your team and then be quite opportunistic about when you play pick kind of fights. Right. Let's yeah, see how they close this game. Still before 30 minutes, still a pretty quick game. And they're not giving free fights over to Smolder. I think at this point, when you're getting towards 3 items and then like huge stacks on Smolder, you can still lose fights. I mean, we saw that with BLG, right? Even though they're stupidly far behind. Smolder is a stupid champion, so, you know. Okay, carry going in. You're taking a front-to-back fight, 5v5. Can they split this up well enough that Smolder can't get value? Yes, Smolder's not DPSing. That's good from Carry. That's a really good angle. How the hell did they find that? Okay, so what happens here? So you jump in, just off a vision now. That's a really bad engage in. Wait, do they have... They should spot Faker. They should spot Faker here. There's red pings on him. Nah, Gideon and Polly just quite make a really bad call. I think they say, look, we're looking for a 5v5. Everyone's here. I don't think they realize that the teamfight positioning from Envy and Karis is not good. They can't do shit. And now they're waiting. Oh, man. Yeah, this is pretty doomed. Oh, it doesn't quite get the knockup. I love how Carrier has been carrying someone into the front line, like Guwon or Zeus, to do big damage. Damn. Get someone into the fountain. Doesn't matter, the game's over. Okay, you know what? I like this composition from T1. They can respond very quickly across the map, and it means that Smolder can't be everywhere at once. I think that Guwon did fine. It's a very easy comp to play as the Viego, where you're just kind of like following on with the rest of the plays. I think that Carrier had an absolutely fantastic game. Carrier is one of the best players in the world. He might be the best player in the world, actually. This guy's incredible. What we can do is, let's have a look. This is Twitter. Something went wrong. Love it. Please, let us see. Okay, so let me just get my camera to the right. I just moved it for jam select. So we just came out of the game 1, and this is voice comms. How quickly is this here? So this is from this play here. So we'll watch this first. So this is on the Nexus. So this is the Nexus play. There isn't a lot to think about here. This is sadly not the most interesting part of the game, where it's like the game deciding stuff. Okay.
아직
아니,
아직도
나한테 그러잖아.
반복 피드 돌려주네?
아직 안 해본 것 감사합니다.
뭐야 왜 그래?
끝낼게요. 나이스. 버스 같아요. 잘하신다. 안
So
되시죠?
this is the end of the game.
말이 안 된다.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we can tell a little bit about this and see who's talking a lot and right, and talking with stuff and value. So let's have a look. So, so they're talking about like punishing the Azir in terms of pushing him over. Oh, with lots of screaming. So no flash, no ults. Guwon saying we're low on HP might be ambitious to end. Then everyone else saying we can end. Azir no flash, no ults. Doesn't have. Yeah, so both Faker and Carrier calling everything there in terms of calling stuff. We're all three of them saying no flash, no ults. Other ways we can end. We can end because we have Senna. So he's talking about the sustain and the range and stuff like that too. Guwon saying he can't gank towers. I mean, he's being present in these comms. He's not being silent. Azir Q is down. That's kind of important. Towers destroyed. Respawn in 5. Yeah, there's Punk. Okay, possess him. I mean, the only real thing which I'll say is valuable in this is the fact that Guwon is talking. That's the only thing that's really important here. The fact that he's not being silent. He's adding in valuable information in terms of like questioning the ending call. That's important there. It's important there's quick responses from the rest of them. It's not the most important thing. I guess the only thing I'll take out of this is saying that, yeah, he's talking in comms. And that's important. That's important. So yeah, we'll check out the second one of that when we get through the second game as well. Okay, so I'm going to go get my coffee from the other room. Got draft on here right now. And then we'll get ourselves into the second game. We'll finish off this series. So, give me one second. Let's get into it then, huh? So, big takeaways from the first game. Felt like T1 did a good job in draft to give Guwon a pretty easy identity to play towards in game. Because, you know, when you're bringing someone in last minute into a roster, it's not the easiest thing to plan around, right? Because he has to get used to a new set of players in terms of comms in game in a high pressure scenario. And yeah, so the Viego was really benefited from the fact that it was, you know, quite easy to tell what they should do. I think that's a great thing that they did there as well. I think that I think that Gideon and I think that particularly Gideon and Polu had some pretty poor moments in terms of the fights that they were choosing. So this might not be the best litmus test for how T1 are playing with, like Guwon was playing on an individual level. I do think, though, that on the whole, T1 was still very good at controlling where the enemy jungler was, and they were very good at responding to where he was. They had really good information throughout most of the game. There was one play early in mid lane where I was thinking, okay, maybe they didn't have direct info, maybe that was like slightly off the boil, but it's quite important to see that T1 can still kind of like play towards their preferred style, even when Oner, who is very core to that style, is out. So now we're going into game 2. Side's been changed. And yeah, we'll see what slips through the draft. No Sana ban right now. No Smolder ban. So we might get the Sana Smolder trade. Sana's banned now, but Smolder is up. Do you first pick the Smolder? Or do you let it go through? Or is it something where you only play the Smolder as easily once you know what the lane pairing is? Because what we've seen in LPL is that obviously Smolder just tends to scale up to infinity. It's not always that easy though, obviously. So we'll see what they do with that. So we've got probably, I mean, are we going to see the Lucian Milio? That tends to be the preferred duo. Also means that you can't answer it with something like a Maokai because the cleanse from Milio is very, very good. Okay, now you have Sudrani on the field. This is almost certainly Milio on 3. I think you have to go Milio on 3. Because if you go Milio on 3, it means you have a cleanse against the Sudrani ultimate, which is really important. You have Aatrox versus Cassante as a top lane matchup, which is effectively, this is important, right? So you have front line versus flank. Aatrox doesn't want to be playing frontline versus these two because he doesn't have the frontline ability that he had in previous seasons. You're looking to flank onto the backline and punish someone like the Azir and the eventual lady carry coming through. Now, interestingly, even though you have really good cleanse value from Milio ultimate against the Sejuani, you actually see the Nami being locked in. Now, one of the things that Nami is very good at that Milio can't do is, so let me do some drawing on the screen. So say you are, this is your front line for, BRION, right? And this is your back line. Now, if you are now T1 on the other side, I'll just use whatever, different color. If you have your front line here as T1, and then you have the Nami here as well. If you throw a tidal wave through this, and it goes like this, if it hits the front line, they're stuck here. The bot, and then the thing is, this backline from BRION, they can't go forward. They can't go into the tidal wave. It's a knock-up, and it's got a very long-lasting slow afterwards. So they have a couple of options. They go to the sides, or they go backwards. Now, what that means is that you can't go and immediately hit whoever's going into the front line of T1. You can't hit these guys. That's not an option for you. And I know this drawing might be a little bit like confusing in its own way, but effectively, because the tidal wave goes through like this and it blocks off this whole area, this front line is isolated. Now, what that means is that you can use the tidal wave to funnel into Aatrox. So if they have to flee into a side and there's like, if they have to flee directly into an Aatrox who stood on the flank here or here, that's bad. Aatrox gets to kill them. If they just move backwards and they can't damage the front line and Lucian gets to hit the front line, that's bad because Lucian kills them. So Nami, if you use Nami ult very well and it's available in a team fight, it can isolate the front line and scatter the back line. And even if K'Sante has to press W in the front of it, it can be very problematic for him because then he wastes W for free. So that's why you're picking the Milio here. I thought that the Nami, I thought that the Milio would have high value because it's against the Sejuani, but the Milio against the double front line can force the Azir into a bad position where he can't do damage. So that's some of the value there. You've locked in the Talia as well now, so now you have an extra thing where if Nami throws an ult at someone, or Lucian's starting to ult someone as well, Talia can either use the ult to kind of isolate the front line, so you have two isolating isolating techniques. Nami ult to kind of throw it through both lines of the team fight. Talia to just wall off the front line from the back line, isolate a target. And then also Talia is very good at shunting back the first target as well if they stand in position. And then you pick the Yuumi, Sivir Yuumi. Why would you pick Sivir Yuumi? What else could you pick there? You don't... Why would you pick that? What AK... So you don't have a lot of your lane dominant AD carries. You can't really pick Smolder into Lucian Nami if it's Gumi, Yushi, and Carry because they kill you. So you can't scale up for free. You've gone for double front line, long range back line. So you want to have something which can work in a front to back team fight. So you need something which scales up. Sivir can survive to an extent. You could have maybe gone for something like a Caitlyn combo, but Caitlyn is pretty bad versus Nami. Because in the same way that when the backline has to scatter, Caitlyn hates getting interrupted like that.
Yo, present from Vizzy.
Oh, sweet, thanks.
Have a coffee.
Thank you, I
And
appreciate it.
croissant for you as well.
Oh, that is so kind of you, actually. I don't know what else other AD carries you could pick here. You know what? I'm going to show you another website I really like using. So this is going to be a little bit of a diatribe. So, there's a great website called GOL.GG, which tells you what people have been playing so much. So let's look at OK BRION. OK BRION. I need to move my camera as well. But, so if you use this website, and you scroll down to the bottom, you can see what people have been picking. So what's Envy been playing? So he's played a lot of Smolder, Xayah, Ezreal. Not necessarily lane dominant stuff, particularly when you're looking at this. You're playing at like 2 to 3 item spiking champions a lot of the time. Not a lot of lane dominance. So you can't really do a lot in terms of lane dominance with that champion pool as much. It's much more about scaling up and waiting things to work out on the whole. So let's go back to this now. Just wanted to have a quick look at that. But GOL.GG, fantastic website. I do a lot of my casting prep on that as well. So let's go back to this. What else could you have picked here? You might have been able to pick Ezreal. Ezreal's not always the best against Lucian, because as soon as Lucian gets one item in the culling, you only have one E to get away, and it's bad. You can't go Xayah or Khan, which would have been fine in lane. You can't go for a lot of your Zeri stuff. Kai'Sa would have been poor because you don't have the Nautilus. I mean, the Sivir is okay. I actually don't mind the Sivir as an AD carry, because you can spell shield the Nami ult. And you can help your backline. You can help reposition around the Nami ult or the Talia ult with the Sivir ultimate. I don't think Sivir's even bad here with the amount of AD carry bans. Just the Yuumi means that you have very low lane pressure. And you're waiting to scale up. But like, who is the early game pressure here? Azir loses push to Talia, so this is not going to help you. K'Sante Aatrox does nothing in an individual matchup, and Aatrox has the flank advantage as well, and the early fight advantage. So Sejuani can't early gank any of your lanes. So you're going to have 3 losing lanes in an aggressive jungle matchup coming from T1. So for me, I think that... Oh, what else could you have picked in this support? Hell, I mean, if you want to go for an Enchanter, I even think Soraka's a better laning pick. If you want to go Enchanter, you could have gone Renata lane as well. I don't think that Sivir Renata's great, but Renata is helpful in laning phase at least. You could have, yeah, you could have gone Aphelios Renata, Aphelios Lulu. That could have been okay. That could have been fine too. And that kind of fits into the 2-item spike of kind of what Envy's like to play. Okay, let's get into the game. So yeah, a bit surprising there from what Envy was picking up. I am surprised that he picked that so freely. I think that might get punished quite hard. Because now, well, or rather from Polu, I guess. Because Polu had a bad last game. So because he didn't know where to be on the map. Now it's, the Yuumi can't really ward as well. They're walking up, getting some jungle vision. That's important. They can spot out Guwon from where he walks up. T1 forced them back. Doesn't really mean anything there. Zeus can walk up and maybe make a mess of the first camp because Sejuani can't fight you at level 1. Nor can Cassandra really. So Zeus might just mess with them on first camp. Indeed he does. They're still tanking blue buff. So he spots them out. Good jungle tracking from Zeus. Again, that's a big topic of when T1 play. How do they track enemy jungler? And this time T1 do have winning lanes and a jungler that can start to really track the enemy jungle. So Bro will have first half of the clear spotted from Guwon because they have the ward on Raptors. Goomer and Carrier establishing a little bit of lane control on bot side. They're going to get level 2 first. That's fine for them. Polu not able to get himself like a mana flow. Well, he's not even got a mana flow, man. But he's not able to get himself like a stack there or anything, or a passive wall to attack. And Zeus just continues to be just obnoxious as hell. Q3. Ow! He gets Conqueror stacked as well and doesn't even get hit by the Q there. Owie! Good trades from Zeus. So watch this, right? That's a really good trade. So Morgan E's out, so he doesn't even get to... In early levels, you need to use your abilities as well as possible. So Morgan uses his E to get the extended dash range to a minion. Instead of it being like... That's too long in terms of what I've drawn. He had got like extended dash range. But he's not going to be able to use this shield. So this little bit of HP, this little bit of HP here... At level 2, when you have hardly any HP, that's not going to be used. He used this ability for extended range, but he doesn't get to use the shield out of it. Zeus waits until the shield wears off. Hits him with the Q3 with the sweet spot. Activates his Conqueror as well. Dodges out on the Q. And Morgan is like completely doomed here. He doesn't have to blow his ghost and he's blowing his pots, but like, god damn, Zeus gets a huge like a huge trade there actually. Micro really on point. Dodges another Q. Because each of these Qs are really important. Early in lane, you don't have the most mana as someone like a Cassandra as well. Like you can't spam your Q for forever, like some people say. Zeus is waiting until the next wave crashes up as well. Because he wants another wave to stack with this, so we can get like... He's dodged another Q. Lands the W. Morgan uses his E to get out again. He doesn't have the E for the shield now. It's a long cooldown of level 1. Like Zeus is completely out-microed Morgan. Like he completely just stepped on this kid. Alright, okay. Really well played from Zeus on top side. I think Zeus continues to be one of the best laning top laners in the world. He's doing really, really well. You know, if Zeus ends up having another good year, if he has like if he goes to MSI finals and Worlds finals, I think Zeus is on the shortlist for best top laner of all time, by the way. Hey, Sam. So, what do you make, Sam, of this take? If Zeus has another good year, particularly if he wins another international tournament, Zeus is on the shortlist for best top laner ever.
Yeah, he is.
Because actually, he's been top tier for 3 years solid. How many top laners have had that level of dominance? I think you've got... I mean, obviously the Shy is up there at some capacity. I think Khan's up there. I think Smeb and... I think Smeb's up there.
I think the problem with Smeb and Khan is neither of them got the international recognition.
Yeah.
And for better or worse... One of the big deciding factors I have found for fans and general metrics within League of Legends is do you win at least MSI? More importantly, do you win Worlds?
Yep.
It's partly why the Shy became so famous, because actually not only did he have his insane Worlds run, he won the damn thing, and he's also continued to be fluctuating between exceptional and very mediocre, but still exciting.
Right now, I think that out of the current T1 roster, with another good year, I think particularly Zeus and Carrier are on the cusp of being best in role ever.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that support is a weird one. because there aren't a lot of easy shoo-ins there. Top lane and support are probably the ones which is like, it's harder to argue it. AD carry, I think Gumayushi has been the best AD carry of the last few years on the whole. I mean, but it's more tightly contested because you have names like Ruler and Viper
I would
and
put
Deft in the
Ruler
equation.
above him, probably.
I mean, of all time, I think I've got Ruler and Deft, Ruler and Deft up there in some capacity. Uzi, for his massive years of longevity, is on the list somewhere as well.
Wei Xiao probably
Now,
has to be there. On
and this is in no particular order, but like I think that this roster as well, if they just have this 5-man unit, you know, continue the level of dominance, I think they're up there as best roster of all time as well. But like this is all a little bit dependent on how they finish off this split and whether they get another international title, just for the kind of like make it beyond doubt. They're in the conversation already. But
yeah, and I think the other thing is like Zeus debuts and gets what? World Finals when he debuts, effectively win 22. They win in 23. Yeah, I think he's probably putting himself up there. I think it's also, again, it's the consistent level of dominance. The stats against some of the best in the world have been pretty extraordinary. It's not like you're coming into a tournament going, yeah, these guys are just better than everyone else.
In terms of
with
like
no contest.
some people say like, oh man, but he did really badly in World's 22 finals. Like he was really ill. Like I really hate when people forget the context around situations where like, for instance, I think it was an EDG went out in their 5-game series versus DRX in 22 as well. Like that was when all the team had COVID.
Yeah.
See if 369 gets another international title. 369 is fucking good right now, actually. I mean, look, this is not definitive. I think it's an interesting conversation. I think there are plenty of players which can be around this conversation. I think everyone on the current T1 roster has like things to go there. I think also in terms of jungle, I think just because Canyon exists and it has so many, it's very hard to put anyone above him. And I think Oner is very key to that. I think Oner is the most like undervalued player on T1. I think people are starting to have more recognition for him now. I think players like Cadril has done. Yeah.
I think it's also important on this kind of conversation while we're having it. The other issue with putting someone like 369 forward is actually 369 has also had periods of his career where he's actually been quite mediocre. One of the most famous bits of drama and videos ever in the LPL is Carcer lambasting 369 for his inability to play now. And it's like, actually, you have such a glaring weakness in how you play. And I look at Zeus and I go, okay, there have been a couple finals games where it's not being as clean as you'd like. You know, he's not played to the level of it we expected. But pretty much since he's debuted, he has been not just rock solid, but dominant on a number of really scary champions. You know, the fact he does have things like the Yone and the Jace that he can just pull out and wreck face it. He's also a good tank player. You know, that versatility is there as well. But like the consistent level of elite performance across multiple years, without really a dip in form, really. Even when there was that whole thing where Faker was out with the injuries, he was still probably the most consistent. He was one of the more consistent members of that team at that point.
God, that's a weird thought. If, as self-diagnosed happiness says in chat, if T1 make another Worlds Finals, they match like the golden era of SKT for consecutive finals reached.
That's nuts.
Because so they had season 5, 6, 7 in a row, and they won the first two, lost the last one. I mean, that's so weird because I never thought that era of SKT would ever get touched again.
I think the other thing is important to note that, like, much like with Rox Tigers in 2016, what makes this interesting is that T1 are not uncontested. Actually, there is a Gen G hanging around. There is an HLE hanging around. More importantly, Gen G, because Gen G have actually been the better edge of T1.
In that matchup, anyway.
In that matchup, particularly when it comes to finals. And it's really odd because T1 seems to be everyone else but Gen G, and Gen G actually struggle against some of the other guys that T1 have been historically
so that's
quite good
fantastic
against.
because, like, I wish we saw more open tournaments because, like, I think that Gen G's style is really good versus T1's because T1 it only does 30 seconds, sadly.
That's fine,
so.
but then you'll know where it is. You
I'm
can
very true.
find it.
Yeah. But yeah, it's been yeah, I think that particularly Gen G, they do a very good job of like tracking. They stop Oner doing what he wants to do, and like because you've had now Peanut and then fucking Canyon, best jungler of all time. They've been very good at kind of like controlling the early game. It means that T1 don't get to play for their dominant lanes for free. Now, I do think that T1 can beat them this year. I think that actually the first series that they played was largely on draft, and they still won 2-1 at them. Anyway, I'm going to go back to this game now. That was a fun extended conversation. Right, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to do like another couple of games, and I'll come raid you after.
Sounds great.
Cool. So, right. Is Gen G like the Kryptonite of T1? To an extent, yes. To an extent. It's not completely as clean as that, but it's to that, you know, to a certain extent. So, we get back onto the map. Early game. Guwon gets into the enemy jungle, puts down some wards. Again, part of the T1 style is just tracking enemy jungler by battle warding. And if we're going to talk about how Genji was the kryptonite of T1, a lot of that was when they were playing with Peanut. Peanut was the guy that invented this style, by the way. T1, I think, have perfected it. I think they are fantastic at it, particularly with Oner, right? But Peanut was the father of battle warding. He could walk into the enemy jungle, and rather than look to just always get farm or kill you, he would just go into your jungle to see you. And he'd do it on stuff like, he was the best Nidalee player in the world in Season 5 and 6. And I think that, yes, he could very much kill you and get these big invade kills. But, in the way that Diamond Prox used to do that as well. He'd counter jungle or kill you. Just walk into the enemy jungle. He popularized Lee Sin in jungle. But he'd also do it on stuff like Rek'Sai. Use the Tremor Sense to spot you out. And once you know where the enemy jungler is, your lanes know that they can play safe or not. And any player in the world will tell you, it is so different what you can do in lane when you know that someone is in your lane or not. If you know that a support's roaming to your lane, if you know if jungler's roaming to your lane, you play more respectfully. Now, if you don't know, you sometimes have to play respectfully anyway, because you have to assume that they're there. And you'll have some laners which permanently die because they know that they can't afford to give up a certain phase of lane. So players like Peanut and Oner being able to face off against each other in similar styles, that's so intriguing to me. Because when that kind of fire meets fire kind of thing, it's really fun to see if both junglers end up tying each other up so both lanes get to play aggressively, or whether one of them gets to kind of like get information first and make a big play before the other one can respond. And obviously why we're watching this series because Guwon's coming in, and T1 are a team which has perfected playing this style with Battle Ward jungling. But now they're doing it with a different jungler in this series, and it's not against the strongest team, but it's just worth seeing whether there's stuff in there right now. So T1, they did quite good there in terms of Guwon getting into the enemy jungle and getting some wards down. But that's kind of the context for this, right? I think it's really important. Because, yeah, I mean, if you're playing with players like Zeus, best laning top laner in the world right now, Guwon, the best laning bot lane in the world right now, Faker, who has absurd laning stats compared to his last split as well. You have 3 of the best performing lanes in the entire damn world. Yeah. So if this is a dumb question, why don't other teams do battle warding to counter T1? So a lot of that is because look at how Weibo tried to do that in the World's Finals. In fact, I have a VOD review of how Weibo played against T1 in those finals, and they tried that in one of those games. The reason why other teams do not play T1 style is because it is fucking hard to play. If you make a mistake, and you allow a jungler to get off of vision to gank a winning lane, you can have someone like Zeus or Goomer and Carrier fall far behind, because they manage to slip the net of vision and they get to mess with your lanes. You need to have 100% uptime in terms of knowing where the jungler is pretty much throughout the entire game. And against the best teams in the world, that isn't always going to happen. JDG managed to have a close series against T1 in some regards in World Semi-Finals. And we've seen, Genji also have moments where they've managed to kind of battle ward in the same way. And that's not a dumb question. That is a very good question, because you think, hang on, why isn't everyone else doing this? Because it's really hard to play. Because every minion that you are hitting, every time you're trading with an enemy champion, there is a chance that, someone has slipped the net of vision and you're going to get ganked. Imagine how hard that is to do for like half an hour to an hour, like depending on how, well, not an hour in terms of game length, but like for half an hour or whatever on average gameplay, until you reach like mid and late game and you start grouping up. It's really hard to have that. Now what happened here is that, so while I was ranting, some stuff happened, right? Faker has prio in mid lane, and as we said, Zeus has good matchup topside, you've got good matchup mid lane, and bot lane's already winning, and you're against the Yuumi who you want to shut down as best as possible. Guwon walks in earlier to put down wards here, and that clears the path for Faker to go towards bot lane unseen. He has ultimate anyway, so he can go here really, really quickly. And for sure, when you do end up playing against T1 for Battle Ward versus Battle Ward, T1 are more practiced at it. They have lanes with bigger champion pools to counter your lanes. They're more likely to get winning lanes and then benefit off of them. And yeah, they are so confident about playing out things mechanically beyond that point that you just have to be afraid of them outplaying. Basically, no teams in the world can match them mechanically across all roles. I think there are some which can do it in 1 or 2, but doing it across all of them, it's really difficult. When it comes to International, we'll see if the meta can continue to allow them to play this style. I think that there are points where, it's hard to do this, but I think it'd be very interesting to me if something like Smolder takes off where you can't shut him down effectively. I need to see T1 shut down scaling carries in the same kind of way. because that might change the way that they play. But this is all very fascinating stuff, and honestly, guys, these are good questions, because you have to say, well, okay, if T1 play this way, why don't other people do this? I think we see BLG play this style right now, and one of the problems I have with BLG is that they're not very precise. So Zayas is going to die. Ooh, W. Oh, he has to W out. Oh, now he gets the healing. Oh, no, that's not very good, Omnivamp. Okay, Guwon gets the... Oh, yeah, but then you have... Faker didn't even need to use ult here. Wow. So now Faker has double buffs, he has double kill here as well. That's going to accelerate into his first item. I'd imagine he's going towards Seraphs, because Seraphs is just a very good item on Taliyah. And I know, I missed a bit of the setup for that play, because again, we're talking about stuff again, but like... the important thing here is, you know what, let's talk about this again, let's see about this again. Did they see anyone heading topside? So... Stuff that happened here is... So they dive bot lane, They have great vision on bot side. They know that no camps are up on the other side, because they've had good tracking of Gideon so far. They know there's a Gromp up, but you kind of know that because your top side camps are up and you have mid lane push here, the obvious decision is for Gideon to go into the enemy jungle and take enemy camps, because you're taking something away from Guwon and you're getting something for yourself, which means that process elimination, you have nothing on bot side, you see nothing in their bot side, you know that likely their top side is going to be clear, and it's more valuable to go into your top side too. With pushing mid, it is safe for Gideon to be on top side. Gideon will be top. You know this. You know this.
Everything is just fine. It's a lot invested, so some plate gold will go over. But man, this is rough. Gideon is...
And now you've lost 3 plates bot side. This is so disgusting. I'm interested to see what happens if a load of melee supports come back. Well, Carry is very good at punishing them, but I'm very interested to see what happens with that. If it means that suddenly teams can get a lot more wards into enemy jungle because melee champions are better. Because in this game, right? Well, he's under turret. He knows that his team is coming up to protect him anyway, but I think he's just surprised that he can get carried over this wall so easily. That's fine. Faker has tier 2 boots and he has his rock surfing passive. He has ult as well if he wants to get him much earlier. He has complete... He could even pull ult right now. In fact, he does. Yep. Yeah, he didn't have to use the ult bot side. If he had to use ult bot side, then obviously they play this play differently here and they don't continue as much. Because Faker's coming, he's just all over the map, man. But the only reason he can get towards bot side is because Guwon ends up dropping a lot of wards on his way down and clears the way for Faker to go there. But, yeah, I'm interested to see what happens when, if you have a lot of face-checking, warding supports like Nautilus and Rakan coming back, whether T1 will be able to have as uncontested control of vision control and battle warding, because enemy supports can also get good information on you on that point. So I'm interested to see what happens to that. But Carrier's got a very good champion pool for punishing those champions too. So you need to be afraid of that when that comes through. Wait, Carrier Predator Thresh? Yeah, I remember that. Carrier Leona Pact. Yeah. Pyke's been playing weird shit for years. His Pyke was fantastic. His Thresh is one of the best of all time. Although there are a lot of good Thresh players, so. Mata's Thresh. Edward's Thresh from back in Moscow 5. Gambit. So now you're in a really difficult spot because you are down 40 CS in a bot lane matchup. That needs items to be relevant. You're down 3 plates there as well. Goom is about to hit his 1-item spike, so we can just run at you and ult you. And obviously Civic can't spell shield all of that. Gideon has to be bot side to protect this, but while all this is happening again, T1 have really good vision into the enemy jungle. They have given over topside vision, but you can't do shit in this topside matchup. This topside matchup is really not something which can like be that exacerbated. If this was like a Cassante versus a Gwen, or like you have like a Jax versus the Aatrox, then it would be a fine cross map. But this Cassante is here to frontline later into the game. He's not here to play early game, man. He's not here to have a fun time there. Speaking of Thresh, why isn't he being played? Against hook supports, typically the way that you tell balance is if you trade hook for hook, who wins? Thresh loses hook for hook against every hook champion right now. Thresh is very good in front-to-back team fights at getting a 1 lantern to get someone back into position. He's not very good at dealing with flanks, so there's so many flanking champions in the game right now that he can't save his carries. And he CCs himself during his hook as well, which is just really not nice. So he doesn't win a lot of lanes, and he's not that useful in late-game team fights. Okay, so he pops his ult. You have teleport from Faker. You can teleport to the minion, which he just about does. Oh, and you don't have Flash and Gideon now. That's a really good Vial. You have to use the Vitalier combo. That Sejuani up 100% stops that combo coming through, which is nice, but he's still dead anyway. Does Faker get the shove back? He does. Holy moly. I have to say T1 in this series have done a really good job of, like, just holding their globals. This is another thing too, right? If you're playing like psychopaths in every single lane, and then finally the enemy team makes a play to come back at you, you just get to throw your globals at that play and make sure you get the extra advantage too. Gets to cancel the back from Envy. Doesn't even... Yeah, he gets to cancel the back. This is awful now, because Envy would have liked to recall there so he can catch the next wave, so Goomer and Kerry don't destroy turret. Now he has to stand under the turret before... against a one-item Lucian, so he can't do this. He actually can't stand under tower here, I don't think. I think he dies if he does. Yeah, because Goomer can run beyond the tower. You either lose tower or lose your life. He's in such a crap spot, because he would be returning around about now, I guess, if he wanted to get the reset. So that's an extra turret play over. He doesn't die, he gets some minions, but, like, that's a good stop from Carrier. That's a good stop. And again, this Sivir needs as much gold as possible, but Goomer and Carrier are, like, the best bot lane, maybe in history at this point, at getting the most out of winning lanes. They are probably the best team at, like, grinding out laning advantages I've seen in a very long time. Goomer is low-key better than Carrier at Nami. Played a Nami game with Ghost on Lucian in solo queue the other day and hit 7-8 bubbles in lane. Nice. That's fun. I like that. Okay, so, important thing right now, T1 don't have the vision they need to make aggressive plays currently. When you have Lucian, you want to have just a little bit of vision into the enemy jungle to make sure that... So picture this, right? If Lucian, in whatever world, jumps forward now, pretend there's no Nami Q here. If he jumps forward now and starts ulting down Envy, what happens if Sejuani comes over this wall and throws an ult at him? Well, obviously he blows cleanse and the play is not great. Now, if you have vision onto this Raptor camp and this bit here, if you have vision here, obviously you know that this angle isn't going to happen. So you can jump forward and do that for free. The best teams in the world are doing this right now in terms of securing shallow vision so Lucian can jump forward and do big damage is T1 and JDG. JDG in the LPL are fantastic at doing this, and Ruler is maybe the best Lucian in the world. I think it's between, like, Guma, Viper, and Ruler. Maybe Elk as well. There's a couple of names on the shortlist. But again, they're all very good at it. But the thing is, Lucian is a team pick. You need enough vision to make sure that this works. However, because there's a lot of things which are now you need to be very worried about here. Because you're worried about Lucian jumping forward with a huge item advantage, right? Because this is all interconnected. You're worried about this, which means that initially Gideon is pathing towards mid lane. Because he's worried that Guma's going to jump forward and just kill his carry. Or, like, at least blow double defensive summoners. That it leaves open bot side to be dove. Now, you have... the Vial coming off a cooldown. Vitalier combo is nasty. Use the Vial to permanently CC into the Talia ult. Talia already has, you know, 3 kills. Very, very strong. Even though it's not the full Seraphs, it's just like a lot of stats just in terms of gold value. Well played from Karis actually here. But the combo's still there. Honestly, Karis plays that well. That's credit to Karis. He interrupts the combo. Because I don't think... So right here... Gideon has combo, he has his ult now. Yeah. So he doesn't have his ult immediately. If he gets immediately ulted, he can't do this because he gets interrupted. So Guwon has his ultimate now. I think Faker probably should just flash backwards, honestly. He takes tower aggro because he's already summoned the E. Yeah. That's just a slight mistiming from Guwon's ultimate. If you had that ult like a second earlier, it's fine. But yeah. By the way, Madam Yu, Amarasu, Zuma the Badger, and Sir Utilot. Thanks for the follows, I appreciate it. Yeah, honestly, that's really well played from Karis. It's a slight punish on Guwon not having his ult there. So, in a situation where it felt like it was going to be very... Oh, shit. Wait, does he kill him anyway? Oh my god, Carrier, what the fuck? Battle Nami. He's a swordfish. What the hell? Nice stuff. Okay, yeah, you know what? Fair play. Fair play. That was really well. But anytime... But, like, this is the other thing, right? Whenever... Jungler's time and presence is the most valuable thing in League of Legends. Gideon showed bot lane to help out Karis make this play bot lane happen. You're against losing lanes, though. Winning lanes. And that means that Goomer and Kerry get to jump forward and do something else. This is something that JDG would do very well last year, and T1 do this well too. But, like, this is a thing between all top teams that they do well. But I think JDG is probably the team, and BLG from LPL, who I think are first on this, where if a jungler shows somewhere the other lane's just immediately all in. So in this case, these two are bot lane, these two are bot lane. As soon as Gideon shows bot, and you know that Guma, what we were just saying about Lucian, if you have Lucian with enough information that he's not going to get third-partied when he ends up running in and like trying to ult people down, if he has enough information, he wins that play. That's why Lucian's so strong. But only in LPL and LCK, where they are very good at gaining information to make sure that you can make those aggressive plays. Jungler's time and attention is taken bot lane, very, very valuable, but that also means you don't have that value in mid lane to stop Guma and Kerry going forwards. They go forwards, they get 2 kills. Or they get a kill. Yeah. Kara, thanks for the follow, I appreciate it. Yeah, as soon as Sejuani shows here, that's when Guma and Kerry are like, okay, right, let's look for a play. Very important stuff. Let's speed this back up again. Let's get through this game. Yeah, so while this happens, I mean, Sejuani's just shown bot, can't respond to mid lane in time. Infinite, oh, it was 2 kills, yeah. Just absolutely destroy him. And it's really well played mechanically. And this is the thing, right? You need to have the hands to be able to do this. You need to be very mechanically proficient because you need the sense of timing and then also the ability to just execute on the plays that you're choosing. Now, they do get a shutdown onto Faker, and Guwon's gone down as well, so that's 2 shutdowns, I guess, because they were both on pretty high KDA. That's nice. Gideon is now pretty strong, but just going back to something that we said in the draft, right? So you have a strong frontline now, but this game is really hard for a frontline to play. Because if a frontline gets vi-ulted, or even worse, the backline gets vi-ulted through your frontline, and then a Nami ult comes down at the same time, the Sejuani, even if you're really strong, is isolated in the frontline against a super fed Talia and a super fed Lucian who've been playing through winning lanes. Oh shit, no, I don't want to put that on. White screen. Okay, anyway. God damn, that was really quite, that was really quite something. Jump scare. Oh, jump scare. But yeah, it means that your frontline gets isolated really easily. Okay, let's get back into this. What's happening here? So, no AD carries in this one. Morgan and Zers can both TP. No great TP angles for Morgan, though. Pink ward's down, so you can't teleport to that. You can teleport to this Pixel Brush, or you can teleport to the wave. Both of them can. Faker gets nailed by the Sejuani ult. Karis is immediately ulted by Guwon, so it interrupts him doing DPS. You have the healing and shielding coming in from Carrier. What happens to the tidal wave, actually? Oh, not a great angle, actually. I think he thinks that what he wants to do is hit the backline with the tidal wave. So he wants to hit that here. If it goes in this direction, this fight's a lot easier. But yeah, Nami tidal wave is actually really important in this game. Okay, the Q knockback ends up putting Karis into the 9 field, so it stuns him and damages him. And he just gets nailed after that point. It is a teleport from Morgan, but not from Zeus. So it's a 1-for-1, but you've used teleport and ghost. How much does Zeus get on this top side? You have 2 grubs. Wow, but Guma makes it down to this play too, because he's winning mid lane so hard, because the Sivir is so far down. Now he gets to walk down. He has tier 2 boots, and he has a Zeal, so he has a lot of movement speed. Then he gets to turn up to the play at the end of this too. Yeah. Good bubble over the wall. That was a blind bubble. Nice. Cool. That was sick. That was sick. But you know, even if that doesn't hit, like, he's still dead. Morgan's now got the Yuumi, but is that going to help? No, it is not. You have a 1-item spike on Lucian. You have died. Oh, shit. Cassante things. Okay, it's fine. We're good. Cool. Yeah. Man. That was a bit of a failed play. And one of the big things here is just, like, because T1 have used... I mean, this is why I was so surprised at this Yuumi. Because the Yuumi cannot save Sivir in laning phase. Yeah, Guma did a short dash to kind of like get his auto attack up easier. Yep, for sure. Nice one. Envy is not strong. Forces his ult out for free. Well, he uses his own ult, but it's a short cooldown ult. Profane Hydra is such a disgusting item, by the way. It gives you so many stats for like the first time of the game. Okay. So you have the Yuumi. It is technically a 3v3. Cassante teleports in earlier, but like the minefield into the Vaiku is so nasty. Even with the Nami ult going wide, this is not a close fight, actually. Because Guma has Prio too. And he has red buff, which is even nicer. Oof, that's so clutch, actually. That's a really cool bubble. Nice, cool. Alright, let's speed it back up again. We've seen this already. So, Just checking back in on vision and stuff again. You can see that, you know, bro, they're trying to defend against the Lucian wards. So you're trying to defend against these ones here. So they've got 2 pink wards. But they have nothing in river. So they can't make aggressive plays themselves easily. But at least they're trying to get some vision control to stop Lucian from jumping forward so easily. But Lucian is so strong. He just jumps forward with a rapid fire cannon. Like, watch the next time he does a rapid fire cannon auto. Is he going to jump forward here? No, he's not. Because Dragon's being started, he's not going to. And Carrier wants to get a quick recall. But like the next time he jumps forward with the 2-item spike, which you can't spell shield, by the way. You can't spell shield that. The energized auto attacks are not spells. So if he just jumps forward and just like gets a double tap auto onto Envy, that's like half his HP gone. I want to see if it happens right now. No, he's not. Again, he's not jumping forward because he's saving his E because he knows that it's likely that because his team's been entirely on bot side and they don't have any of this shallow vision in top side. If you just look at the mini map here, they know like likely someone's top side of mid. Guwon goes into that bush. That's fine. Carries here now as well. What's happening with the tidal wave? Because what he wants to do is hit a tidal wave through, because I think he's just summoning it now. He wants to do it like this, right? Because he wants to ice. This is exactly what we're talking about. Beautiful example. Gideon's going to get isolated. He's going to get hit and slowed after this point. He has a flash. He might be able to flash away. But there is no option now but for Envy and Karis to go this way. They have to go this way. They cannot get hit by the tidal wave. If they get hit by this, Gumi kills them with culling. So watch this from Karis. So he should summon it right now. Yep, exactly that. Oh, they jump forward. Okay. But that means that you've just given a free option for... You've used all of your mobility to go forwards. Goom is down, but, like, you're going against globals. This is... You've now bought into a losing fight, surely. No, okay, alright, they actually goes off, so the teleport's not quick enough. But you can see what the Nami's trying to achieve and what they're trying to do with this. I guess... This is well played from Karis, actually. Yeah, Karis played this well. There's no flash from Guma. He used his dash as well. So Guma, maybe... Wait, when was the last time he used his dash? When did he use his dash? Because if he holds onto his dash, this play doesn't happen, I don't think.
Yeah, that's true. So this has to be happening right now. Is Gideon getting...
Oh, he dashes away anyway. Oh, he just flashes after him. Okay, no. That's actually, you know what? That's just well played by Karis. It's well played from Karis. Karis, he flashes after the E anyway, because Guma doesn't have flash. Karis has been playing this game really well. I think that he's done a really good job of like finding the moments to use his mobility well. He only has like 1 mobility shuffle during team fights. He did it under bot lane turret really, really well. And he ends up doing it there to punish Guma, because Guma would have like one-shot both of them. Now, this is why Nautilus and Rakan are better at this than Nami, because Nami is not tanky. So that's a good kind of play from Bro. The Bro are trying to protect this, again, the Lucian wards, right? Because if you give Lucian wards like here and here, then that's really difficult. So they've put the wards there first. They got the pink ward here to defend against that. Because again, they just gives Lucian like unparalleled ability to kind of like go in on mid lane. So Bro have realized that. I think that's intelligent from them. I think that's important. And what this means is that when Nami goes to do those warding missions, she's not a great warding champion. Faker gets out alive, that's fine. But T1 giving over a lot of gold now, which is good. It's good for Bro. Good for Bro. They get themselves some extra gold onto carries, which they need multiple items on. Because if you get to a point where Azir has Zhonya's, you can Zhonya's the Viol, and you can make some bigger plays as well if you want to get a shuffle and get someone out of position like Gumiushi, because you can do Zhonya's afters and buy yourself some time. It's still pretty hard though, because Sivir is just in a rough spot. Sivir's just not strong yet. Sivir's not strong. Oh, actually, that's hilarious. By the way, this is kind of funny, by the way. I just noticed this now. So, Envy gets hit by the infernal chains. He would have been hit by the tidal wave, but the chains pull him back into it. Holy crap. Okay. Right, okay, so that's something at least. Carrier, again, Nami's not a great warding champion. You need Vi there, I think. So that's just a little bit of a mistake from Carrier, not having like a warding buddy close enough. Well, not a tanky enough warding buddy to help him there. I don't think Faker can... Maybe if Faker's closer, he can combo them away. So maybe it's just a spacing issue between Faker and Carrier. But either way, mistake on the warding mission.
It was an 8k lead at about 8 minutes. It's not only a 5k lead.
I would say they're making progress. That might have been because you guys have paid the bro tax. Keep coming. Yep. They haven't paid it. Don't have to highlight that message, please. So they can give a chance through. Bring us to 6 games on the day.
Okay. So, you have 2 items of Faker who has Seraphs now. Much harder to kill him now. Herald in mid, so that's going to be mid lane for free. And this is going to be very problematic because it's much easier to get... Well, they have wards. They can do this. They're probably looking for a wall across here. Or maybe even across here. You can try and maybe try and isolate Gideon. He has no flash. He'll probably just Q over it. This is a thing which T1 showed very well during their world semifinals and finals, by the way. Very good at getting multi-part flanks, where you're threatening on multiple angles at once. Now, Zeus is on Vision. Faker is not. They kind of can assume because he's not in other lanes. He's not showing on top lane. He's not showing on bot lane. And he has a second tier ultimate, so anyway, so it's a pretty long range one. And of course you have big stuff up from Lucian as well. You have everything you need. You've got the Herald coming in, so this should be guaranteed mid-turret. If bros stick around, it's a fight as well. Okay. So the turret dies. They don't get the turret there either. It's harder to defend against this Vision as well after this goes down. They really want to keep this up, but this is very greedy to stay for it. Okay. So that's going to be Nami ult to again isolate the front line. Turret goes down. Not a great Vial, but it blows the stopwatch. No, it's fine actually, because the stopwatch is really a lot of gold to get stuff over. Morgan gets into the backline though. I think that T1... Maybe... I wonder if you should just actually Vial Gideon here. I wonder if you try and Vial Gideon instead. Yeah, I think Guwon goes a bit too far there, and that... Because you're going into the Yuumi ult, which slows you down a lot too. Guwon has another Q, but it just means that you're kind of all clumped into this crappy retreat. Guma still has damage, Faker still has damage, so it's not like it's a free fight. But it's still a 1 for 2. Yeah, T1 just going a little too far into a Yuumi ult. I think the start of the play is good, and they get that mid lane turret, but then they trading the mid lane turret after this. So it's a little bit of a mistake from Guwon going a bit too far. Okay. So T1 punished though. Honestly, quite well played from Bro. I think that T1 had the tools to win that fight. I think that Guwon went a little too far, and they couldn't quite isolate the front line in the way that they wanted to. But still, Guma and Faker lots and lots of damage, so they're still confident with their way that their team comp works, but it's kind of nasty to give up plays like that. Because you're giving gold over to the Azir and the Sivir, who will outscale you in terms of damage, eventually. It's just at what point that happens. We've got a Shiv on Sivir, which is great for your pushing power. It's not great for your team fight value, especially with Shiv kind of just going down in terms of value. I think that Morgan does not choose the right ult direction though, because he's not tanky when he ults. Okay, Morgan has a W, so he is safe. Dragon's coming up. Zeus is now on a huge flank angle. So now we're getting into the point now. Whoa, good tidal wave there as well, actually, to slow them down. They know that Zeus is on the angle, so Bro can't commit to this now. So again, look at how the tidal wave is such a beautiful way to envision team fights, right? Look at how tidal wave forces people to move. You can't afford to get hit, knocked up and then kind of slowed afterwards. So Envy, you can't run this way and that way then. And even if he does, if he runs this way, Zeus kills him. Now, if he runs forwards, he's going into the super fed Lucian who kills him. He doesn't have flash, he has barrier. Barrier doesn't save him. While this is happening, Guwon can fly over the wall as well and potentially lock up a second target too. You have Faker in a great position to combo up onto the Nami ult as well. But like, look how many angles of attack T1 are coming in from. They have Guma on one target, you have Faker onto another. You've got this guy coming over a wall as well in terms of Guwon. Zeus can come over here too and like punish anyone who's retreating through that angle. Really well orchestrated fight from Bros. They get Envy down for free. Guwon manages to finish off that kill. Faker, oh sorry, Faker's coming in from the other flank. That's what he's coming from. I thought he was like up in the other combo. I missed that. Flash there from combo. Karis doesn't have stopwatch because Guwon blew it the fight before. And Zeus doesn't end up like hard committing to the back end of that fight. That's fine though. If he goes a little too far, there's a chance that he gets, you know, burst out a little bit by the Casantic Sejuani combo, so I think that's fine. Gonna get Dragon. Do they get Baron off of this too? Who do I think is going to win this week, Gen.G or T1? I haven't watched enough Gen.G to completely tell. I think that the last time I saw them, I thought T1 were in really good form. If Oner is playing for T1 and in good form, I think then T1 should take it, but I think it could be a 2-1. I think that right now, T1 are playing a very, very perfected form of their style. I think they really know how they want to play the game, and that's very important. You can see teams like LNG that don't know how to play the game. Even though they have good individual players, it's just a mess. T1, they're all on the same page. And even when they switch out Guwon, the team has such a strong identity that they can still play through it. So Oner's gone out, Guwon's come in, but like this has been very, very good actually. I think that on the whole, T1 have been very good at like pushing up and getting vision in the same way they've been doing through jungle for with Oner as well. I don't think it's as good. I think that Guwon has gone too far in some engagements, but you know, I think that he's been largely very good.
Yeah, I mean, the 20% movement speed. You know, once upon a time, Cloud was 10% movement speed on combat. The fact is 20% is kind of an absurd amount.
Wasn't it nerfed from 15 as well? And 15 was considered like it's too strong. Or am I imagining that?
I don't remember me, but I just know the fact it's 20 now is kind of absurd. Just like, because obviously you get the boost when you roll, but you just pass it so fast.
Okay.
So much harder to hit skills.
So inner turret falls, they have the Baron power push. Zeus has flash and he has ult. Envy's already popped his ult. Zeus doesn't even, well, even if Zeus does get chunked out, I mean, he gets to teleport back for regen anyway. They don't break the base though, and that means that potentially Bro can stall to third item on Envy. It's going to be a hard ask though. He's not, well, he's not against tanks, so he's not going to go for Lord Dominus Regards. He's going for Bloodthirster. I just don't think Envy is going to be relevant enough to like do something. I think that Envy is going to find it so hard to actually stand still and auto attack and get value out of this. It's going to be very hard for him to get value. You're getting towards fourth item for Guma as well. He's going towards Navori, which means that he's going to be really just ice skating around. Death cap for Faker, so if anyone gets pinned by the Vial or the Nami ult in front of him, they die with Void Staff as well. Even the front line is going to get absolutely popped. See that Envy at least has the Yuumi for the shielding. Yuumi can punish you over diving at some points because of the ultimate, and then of course the ability to save the carry that you're diving on. But it's just, I don't think it's enough. I don't think you gave up too much gold. You're 10,000 gold behind. You just don't have the stats. You don't have the stats, man.
You know, I like that we have the graph to demonstrate a little bit.
Yeah, see when they did some things.
Yeah, that felt good.
Yeah,
And I mean, they have a lot of wave clear.
that's
I
why
think
they get that for banning the center.
Yeah,
They got that little
bit of hope.
yeah, a little bit of.
I think the main thing here is that there are two big objectives coming up soon. And Bro just need one of them. You don't actually.
Okay. So you can see that Gideon using Poly to just kind of roam around the map and get some vision, but like it's so shallow vision. They're just trying to keep their base alive. When you're pushed into your own side of the map like this too, important factor is that even if you're not making big plays, you lose jungle camps. Losing jungle camps, you think how much is a jungle camp at this point in the game? What, 100 gold? A couple 100 gold? Which means that every time you're losing raptors like this, which is going to be what, 100 and something gold, whatever, that means that you're losing that gold because you would have assumed you would have got that because it's your jungle camp, but then also the enemy is getting it. So each time you lose a jungle camp, it is a couple of 100 gold swing. Even if you don't break turrets, even if you like don't give up kills, you can still bleed out of a game because jungle camps are such a big like extra kind of advantage. T1, they win plays across the map like any team would do now. You drop a load of vision when it goes with it. And it means that Bro need to be very careful about when they come back out onto the map. Elder's up in a minute, but they're going to be seen heading towards it. There's a chance that Zeus on the lethality flanking Aatrox or Faker gets themselves off of vision with a teleport as well. And they get to walk into a dangerous position and threaten the backline. T1 really, really good at orchestrating multiple fights. So Bro, they're trying to just brute force mid-wave. The only safe plan they have is, right, we have an Azir turret. We can wave clear very quickly. Maybe we can get ourselves a safe position by going through mid lane. Maybe that's the play. But it's difficult. It's really difficult. You can see that they're trying to just get a tap onto Guma. If you can get a tap onto Guma, maybe you can buy a little bit of HP. Yeah. So what they've done now is oh god, that's huge damage onto frontline. But now it's Guwon that's actually got Alpha Vision. Zeus can teleport back in. He is teleporting back in now. Do they see that? They don't ping it, so they don't see it. That was on a regular vision ward. So now Zeus has just bought up what he wanted to buy. He's coming back into the play. He's level 17. Guwon and Zeus both on a big flank. Morgan's just teleporting back into the play. But now Bro are caught between 3 different angles. Wall's in one way. Zeus in here as well. Carrier goes backwards. Guma's not been shut down. Guwon gets onto a carrier. He might die for this, but still it's fine. Gideon's going to die. Not bad from Karis to get on top of Faker, actually. But again, Envy just doesn't have the damage. He doesn't have the damage. So that's going to be a clean play. So a lot of this comes from T1 pushing them in, getting a load of different vision, allowing 2 or 3 angles to come into a team fight. And yeah, they do end up losing Guwon. But honestly, I don't even think Guwon played this game that badly. He played like, yeah. Let's go back and do that again. Let's go back and watch that. Let's go back and watch that. This will be the last play of the series. So, Zeus teleports back in. He's spotted on vision here. Faker controls the terrain. You have no ability. You could flash over this wall. If Envy flashes here, though, you've got 2 different ways to screw that. Karras has flash and he has ult. Maybe Karras can flash in and scoop Faker back to make it like a one-dimensional fight. This is kind of all on Karras to try and... Oh, they dodged the Nami wave. That's kind of big. But they're now into a really crap position. Karras needs to find a way to make this a single direction fight again. And he flashes beyond to try and get some damage here, but the damage has been done. Gumayushi's not been touched. Your front line's dead because Guma's too strong. T1 just hand them too many angles. Just hands them way too many angles. Let me look. I wasn't looking at Zeus in that one. I know people have mentioned that. Let's look at Zeus then. So he hops over the wall. He has another E coming up soon as well. So he hops over here too. And like he just goes through the Nami tidal wave as well. So like he gets the movement speed bonus from Nami, by the way, from their passive. Gets right onto the carries. And then he's just like completely on top of everyone. Avoids the Azir wall. Flashes in for a Profane Hydra. Completely mashes the back end here. Really well orchestrated. T1's engages are really, really fun.
Honestly, with a 10k goal deficit, down soul as well, with the flank that T1 set up.
Okay, T1. Good series. Yeah, against a struggling team, but they subbed out their jungler and they largely played the same style. And that's kind of what I wanted to see. It's like, well, if you sub out Oner, can they play the same style? Yes, they can. Is it the same level? No, I think that Oner is much better than Guwon, but Guwon works well within the framework. I think this is a real credit to the coaching staff at T1. I think it's a credit to the players on the Rift as well, being able to like orchestrate this and understand the way they play the game. It's like, it's really weird talking about this, but some teams don't actually understand why they are winning. Not all the time. And they don't understand why they're winning and losing. I think T1 actually do this year. Very much so. So that was a good game. That was a good game. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that a lot. It was a good series. So, we did say we'd take a look at the... So that we'd have a look at the Nexus falling on this one as well. So let's just pause this for now. So this was the translation of the Nexus falling when Guwon was in here as well. Let me just refresh the page and use that sometimes. Yeah, Zeus has been really good. I think Zeus is just very... oh, this was which one was this? Was this Nexus falling? Again, there's not... Aw, saying thank you and stuff. Aw.
이거 세조 20초긴 한데 잡을 사람. 어시슈 쌤. 근데 유미는 잡아야 되긴 해. 세조는 못 잡고 유미 잡을래? 유미는 무조건 잡아야 돼. 확인. 유미는 15초. 일단 라크 빨리 해봐.
The thing about T1 comms is that there's very little chaff, right? When it's needed, there's little chaff. Like, you're saying useful stuff most of the time. Which is like... This is a thing which Western players I don't think get all the time. There is not talking, which is bad. Then there is talking too much, which is also bad. So if you're talking about stuff which is not useful, then why are you saying it? Why are you muddying up the comms like that? Nice. Playing Vi is indeed nerve-wracking for real. Yeah. Learned a lot. Yeah, I mean, they're just... There isn't much to take from these folks. Largely... the important thing is that Guwon is actually talking. That's good for him. It's not like he's been cowed out by the equation, not the equation, the occasion. That's the one. And yeah, I mean, rest of the team seems to be communicating very effectively, even without Oner there, which is nice. Obviously, it's going to have some negatives to that as well, but yeah. Is there a huge amount that we learned from this series? No, not really, but it's nice to just check in. There could have been something there, which I just wanted to check for anyway. But still, it's largely just kind of cheap, keeping the status quo. Right, folks, I've been streaming for 5.5 hours, and I'm going to do this again tomorrow as well. I know I said I was going to do HLE versus KT Game 1. I don't think I'm going to do that today, folks. I'm going to leave that for another day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go raid over